Okay, guys, alternate ending. Take 43.
With so many movies on the net and TV, it's kinda hard being up and film savvy. Do you catch a show while you're on the go? And how do you know what to keep or what to throw? How do you know what to keep or what to throw? Tune in, tune in, tune in to alternate ending. Tune in, tune in, tune in to alternate ending. Now! Please give a warm welcome to the hosts of Alternate Ending.
Welcome to Alternating. We're discovering good movies, one bad movie at a time. I'm film school dropout Robert Jarosinski. Across from me is our casual moviegoer Carrie Jarosinski and our very own critic in residence Tim Brayton, with Pacific Rim Uprising and Sherlock Gnomes deucing their way into theaters this upcoming weekend.
I thought we were gonna go with the studios are dropping a deuce in the
I made a executive decision.
But deucing is not a verb.
I know, that's why I decided to go with it.
Right, so say it again the way Tim wanted, though.
No.
Sherlock Gnomes dropping a deuce?
Well, no, we've already
Taking a deuce.
Deucing is good.
We're gonna go with deucing.
Taking
Deucing
a deuce
its way.
into
So we
theaters.
got some movies coming out. They are called Pacific Rim Uprising and Sherlock Gnomes.
Both sequels.
Gnomes.
So we're
He's a garden gnome,
We're-
but he's also a detective, like Sherlock Holmes, but it's a pun.
We're predicting a little bit that both of these movies are not necessarily terrible or not, but they're sequels, and our episode is going to focus on our top 5 unnecessary sequels. So it's I feel a little bit bad that we're already saying that they're unnecessary. Pacific
Well,
Rim,
they're clearly unnecessary.
yeah.
And I think that's going to get into the question of what makes a sequel unnecessary, because unnecessary does not inherently mean bad, and necessary does not inherently mean good.
Does it feel like you're jumping ahead?
I'm just saying.
We might
Okay.
be.
All right.
Let's put a pin on this one.
Well, but first, Tim, you came bearing some gifts.
I did.
And some lemon bars, and I believe this is for in retribution, or because
Penance?
you're paying penance
Pen at the pen?
for not watching enough movies this week. Is
You
that
know,
what this is for?
I did not, in fact, have a chance to make it out to the theater today. I had a small cat health emergency. She's doing fine.
I didn't think she was that. I thought she was kind of more medium. Don't you think?
she's quite small. She's fat, but she's tiny.
Oh,
She's
okay.
a tiny fat cat. But cat had a little bit of an issue, but she's good. She's on an antibiotic, so she's fine. The vet's not worried about it.
Well, now I feel like an asshole.
You should. You should. No, you should feel like even more of an asshole, because of course I made the lemon bars for you to thank you for driving me to get my cat.
How come I got 11 bars?
Delicious.
Because you were going to, until your phone mysteriously stopped working the minute that I asked for someone to come pick me up.
That's true.
So
That's true.
what it was about.
But I did respond.
Oh, there must be something wrong with the tower. I just got this.
But yeah, no, I did not have a chance to make it to a theater. I was going to see Tomb Raider this afternoon, but I decided to stick with my kitty.
Nice.
I think it's okay.
So what did you see this week? How many did you see?
I only saw 11 this week.
Are you being serious?
I'm being serious. I had a very full weekend. I'm finally done doing work for like this and only this weekend. So I was like, I'm going to fucking make it up. I'm going to just watch movies. So had a friend over. We did a movie marathon, 8 feature films. I'm going to talk about none of them because they're all like random things that I had on DVD or Blu-ray, some of which I'd seen before, some of which I hadn't. Instead, just for the sake of having a new-ish thing to talk about, right before I came here, I invested the 2 hours in watching the Netflix original Korean mystery thriller Forgotten, about which I would almost prefer not to even briefly go into the plot summary because it so immediately starts twisting. But basically, there's this young man who is part of a very happy family, mom and dad, older brother in his mid-20s, young brother's about 19 or 20. And they are living a happy life in a new house. Something seems a little off about the house, but the young man can't put his finger on why. After a few weeks in this house, his older brother is kidnapped, goes missing for 19 days, and then comes back, and then the parents and brother act like nothing happened. So the younger brother starts to figure out, well, what's going on here? What's happening? And what he discovers will shock you. But
I'm intrigued.
I liked this movie a lot, actually. It's very shallow. It's super just like, it's about the pleasure of having a twist smack you in the face. It is not a film that deepens because of its twists. I don't know, have either of you seen the movie Old Boy?
You have. You
both.
have.
Yeah.
I have too.
Well, that's too bad.
Yeah.
I haven't even seen the remake.
It's okay.
Is it?
Yeah.
Anyway, this movie clearly wants you to think of Old Boy, But I think whereas Old Boy's twists really elevated into something like tragic and beautiful almost, this film's twists are just about like, oh my God, I did not see that coming. And that's it. Like, it's just sort of a...
But you were genuinely twisted.
I was invested. Like, I don't think you could conceivably predict what this movie does because it's so batshit nuts. Not necessarily to its benefit.
Of the two things I like to slap me in the face, a twist is one of them.
I know.
So one of the two.
Sadly, there are no large-breasted women in this movie.
Or in this room.
So 3 things. There's 3 things that I like slapping me in the face.
So you recommend people see this?
I recommend seeing it. It's on Netflix. What it tells us more than anything, I believe, is that Netflix originals are best when they are Korean genre films. Because the last, like, actually very good Netflix film was Okja, which is by Bong Joon-ho.
The one with the pig?
The one with the pig. Not Bong Joon-ho. Maybe it is no. Yes. Anyway, it's a Korean movie. This is a Korean movie. And every movie they've made in between these two has been shit.
Okay.
So good for Netflix for making Korean movies. Totally worth watching. It's not...
For everybody.
It's subtitled, so if that's a turnoff. But other than that, I don't know why anyone would not.
If it's a
find
twist,
I'll
watch that.
I found it satisfying.
Yeah.
It's shallow. It's not a movie that'll stick with you, but I enjoyed it.
Subtitles didn't turn me off to the original Old Boy, so I'd give it for a
that
great twist.
That was the parkour movie, right?
No.
Obviously not.
You're thinking of District B13.
I don't think I am.
Casino Royale.
Yes.
All right.
Here, I know you and I didn't have a chance to take in too much, but we did make it out to the theaters. We've been pretty good about going out there.
Try to go for a date.
That seems pretty passive aggressive. I think you're saying that just to make me feel bad.
I know. It's a little bit
bad. Is it coming off that way?
My cat is sick. Man.
Really sick.
But we had a choice.
One of my most anticipated.
Yeah, we were deciding between Tomb Raider and Love, Simon, because it's one of your most anticipated movies.
Yeah.
And that was actually a high school movie. I wanted to see it. Love, Simon is what we ended up watching. So what did you think?
I put it in my letterbox. Tim thinks differently. You haven't seen this one yet.
I haven't seen it, so I think nothing. I have no
thoughts. So good. And Rob and I haven't talked about it, and I'm not sure if he loved it as much as I did. It's directed by Greg Berlanti. I don't know if he's done anything else.
He's a TV guy.
Okay. And it's based on a book called Simon versus the Homo Sapiens, Agenda by Becky Albertalli. So it stars Nick Robinson, plays Simon, Josh Duhamel, was a little concerned there on that one.
Josh Duhamel. I thought he'd been banished to Siberia.
No,
That's too bad.
Evidently, he's been aging well on the sidelines. I thought he looked pretty good.
He's been doing those Taco Bell commercials too that I've been enjoying.
Has he really?
You haven't seen those Taco Bell commercials?
No.
I avoid the places in life that would put me in touch with Taco Bell commercials.
I would too. He's in this with Jennifer Garner, and then they play the husband and wife, which make me feel a little bit old because they have very old children, and I don't picture them as being old actors. But anyway, Catherine Langford's in this too, and she plays one of the main characters. She's one of the girls from that 13 Reasons Why show that came out. There were actually a couple characters from that. But anyway, so the preview the trailer for this that you see tells you nothing, and so the movie takes off, and it tells you something. It actually tells you quite a bit.
It feels like it tells me a hell of a lot, honestly.
It tells you quite a bit.
Does Simon come out and then turn into a crime fighter? Because that would make me way more excited.
It could have it. I don't want to spoil it. But so Simon comes out, and you find that out from the trailer that he's a gay teenager attending high school. Nobody knows, and it's the story of him sort of having to inform his friends and family about his life and who he really feels like he is, and go through that whole experience. And so you see all that though from the trailer, and then the movie starts off, and everything that happens in the trailer happens in the first 5 minutes of the movie. So I thought, oh crap, this is going to be one of those movies that just goes downhill, and I don't know, that if that was the best that you had to give and you didn't show anything better in the trailer, then I was concerned. The whole movie was hilarious. I laughed. The whole theater was laughing. I cried multiple times throughout this movie. I was a little bit mad, but not the kind of mad that makes me mad that I went to see it kind of mad, but I was just a little bit mad. And I just thought it was sweet. I thought it was a great I don't know if it was a great representation or not of what that experience might be like, but I felt the emotional tugs that Simon might have
That's where
felt.
I give it the props. I'm not familiar with another mainstream movie where it focuses around a gay character coming out.
Not a teenager, no.
Yeah,
there's actually a substantial number, but not a teen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the fact that the movie, the audience that we were filled with was all teenagers, just different types of teenagers, and they were all cheering by the end of it. Was very sweet.
It was super sweet.
But as far as from a movie quality perspective, I thought the acting was fine.
Super great.
Super great. Okay, well, sure.
Pretty good.
It was all right. But I was a little bored in the movie.
No.
I know you thought it was really funny. I didn't find
the movie...
you
were laughing. I looked over.
No,
you were
laughed.
like doing the cry laugh thing.
Crying for me is that's expected at almost
I mean, it's pretty easy to make Rob cry.
That's true.
I didn't find the movie. There were a couple the things that made me laugh out loud were consistently the drama teacher, and I got her name here. Natasha Rothwell stole every single scene for me that she was in.
She was pretty epic.
So be on the lookout for her, Tim.
For sure.
Tony Hale's in this as a vice principal, and I find him charming and amusing.
He was funny.
He was as the vice principal who's trying to get be too cool, and I enjoyed him. The lead character, Nick Robinson, plays Simon.
He did a great job.
He did a great job. All the acting was fun. I can't put my finger on it. I was just a little bored with the movie.
That's more or less what I anticipate my reactions.
I think too. I think you're going to go in and you're going to bring your tissues. You're going to be in there. You're going to be. I know
it's a film about a gay teenager, but I don't think I need tissues. It is a public space, for God's sake.
It's a 91% Rotten Tomatoes right now, which is high. But I'm guessing that those critics are all probably putting it like a 6 out of 10 because I just don't see this being a high mark.
I was almost ready to give it 4.5 stars, but I walked myself off the ledge.
On the tomato meter.
I know.
It's touching, but I mean, when you compare this, I know you're a big fan of Perks of Being a Wallflower. Like that movie, I know Tim, you're not.
I hate it.
So I'll be a little curious where you land with this. Like at least that movie had I don't know, it just had something more to it stylistically. Like this was almost like made for TV.
It was good.
Movie quality.
People
Greg
are gonna love
Berlanti,
it.
known for Life as We Know It, other than TV movie, and starring Josh Duhamel as well.
Okay.
So,
which to bring things full circle, I want to push back against one thing.
Sure,
Carrie. I've pulled up a picture of Josh Duhamel.
Yeah.
You said he's aged well.
In this movie, he was looking pretty good.
Because to me, he looks like he's aged into Colin Farrell's stunt double.
So what you're seeing there is not what you see in the movie.
Okay, because I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh,
that haircut's a little tight.
That haircut is not doing you any favors, Josh Duhamel.
He has it. I do
not want to win a date with that Tad Hamilton. Well, if you know what I mean. That was like 20 years ago. That movie.
A while ago.
Yeah, I think it was.
I'm on his Wikipedia page. That is a 14-year-old movie.
Yeah,
he's way too young to be playing the father of a teenage boy.
Yeah.
Because that was only 14 years ago, and Tad Hamilton had no children.
That's true. I don't know what's happening. But that's what we saw.
Damn, that's right. He was in all 3 Transformers movies.
Yeah.
Of which there are 5, so I don't know why I said all 3. But
we all saw Red Sparrow as well, but in honor of trying to keep you away from the bad movies and just discover the good ones, that was one where
you don't need to see it.
Yeah, we're okay.
Really
just
bad.
Not really talking much about it.
It's just not interesting.
A lot of Jennifer Lawrence nudity and confusing plots that
So you're telling people to go and see it then, is what you're saying?
But you can wait for that. You don't have to pay to see it.
Oh, yeah, don't pay.
You can, Google it.
Yeah. You could just Google
image it, and then that's all you should do. I agree.
Remember, you can find more details about all the movies we've watched at our website, alternateending.com. That's alternateending.com. Before we head to our break, you might be wondering about ways to support the show. If you want access to exclusive content, make us watch a movie, or pick your own episode topic, you can do it all on our Patreon page. Just like our newest Patreon, Paul Royer, who picked up our Oscar reward.
Which one is that?
That's the top notch.
That's the one that gives you everything.
Is that the highest one?
That's one where Rob comes and gives you a lap dance.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
that's $20.
Yeah.
I mean, it's overpriced. I know it's overpriced.
I know. But it's the package deal.
It's the full package. Gives Paul access to everything we offer, control of our episode, movie review from Tim, movie for Carrie and I to watch, along with access to all of our exclusive content. Also, we had a Patreon anniversary. Happy anniversary, Tristan Frayling.
Hey, happy anniversary.
Thank you for your continued patronage. Also, we have the rarest opportunities. We had a Critics' Choice Award, aka Tim Review, has become available. The last time it happened, it was only available for not even a full day. Someone snagged it. So be sure to go out to our Patreon site and grab it before it is gone. Also want to thank all of our newest Patreons who've contributed under our Razzie Award level. Appreciate those. All of the contributions go a long way to helping us improve the site. We have some surprises coming soon. So excited to share those with you guys shortly. Also want to thank all of our listeners who support the show and make their Amazon purchases through our site. Doing is easy. Just go to our website, alternatending.com. Click on our Amazon banner and seamlessly go about your purchases. All proceeds go to making our show better. Since our last episode, a couple
dog
things
food?
purchased. Actually, there was dog food, but
Right.
it's a little further down the list there. Are you like, you're clocking it now?
Yeah,
You've got it on
Stop
your calendar?
doing that, because one day they're not going to buy dog food, and then I'm
That's
going to
kind
feel
of really
sad.
sad. Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Some people...
Stop paying
Is it the
attention.
puppy blend?
No. It is adult.
Oh, you're right.
Just stop checking it.
If whoever purchases the dog food, if just for us, if anything tragic were to ever happen, just keep buying the dog food.
Keep buying the dog food. Invoice Rob. He will pay you back for
That's
the
right.
dog food.
He would.
We had someone doing some auto repair work. I can't fix any of my own cars, so we have it's a Honda CRZ, some sort of carbon filter replacement kit. I wouldn't know what the hell to do with that, but appreciate
Well,
you.
you would replace your carbon filters, it sounds to me.
I wouldn't know, or cabin
Honda.
filter, excuse me, car cabin filter. And then, a motorcycle BMW Powerlet plug dual USB charger. So, you can plug in your phone while you're riding your motorcycle.
Are you sure that it's not so you can plug your motorcycle into a wall outlet to charge it up?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a red charger for your phone, iPhone, GPS.
All right.
It's a little adapter there. Also had some more cables. Cables.
Okay.
People need their cables. 6
Like
foot-
musical?
Nope. Braided USB A to Lightning compatible cable. I lose mine all the time. Carrie misplaces them, so
I don't
we're
misplace
always
them.
we're never sure where they are. Also had some office products, some Duck Brand Brown craft paper rolls.
All right.
I don't know what
2.5
that is.
feet by 30 feet. Just the brown.
It's
brown-
paper roll.
many
wrapping.
uses. The one that leaps to my mind is when you're framing.
Oh,
you put
okay.
brown paper on the back of your framed art.
Okay. That's probably what it's for.
Also, possibly for mailing some things. Scotch mailing tubes.
Okay.
The
Maybe for mailing the rolls of brown paper.
Yeah. There you go.
Maybe
You
it's
must have got a good
someone's Easter
deal.
present.
And then they're mailing it to somebody in bulk because it was such a good deal.
Yep.
Also has some Amazon Instant Video purchase here. Mrs. Miniver. Not familiar?
Okay, yeah, it's the
Seen
Best
it?
Picture winner from 1943.
Let's see how you do.
I think.
Ooh, that's amazing
42?
that you 42. That's crazy,
It
Tim.
won in 43 for the 42 movie year. Obviously, was what I meant.
That's awesome. Also had someone pick up the Amazon free movie channel. That's great. If you're ever interested, HBO, Showtime, they have a lot of nice little free movie channel subscriptions. That really helps us out a lot when you do that. So appreciate all the purchases. When we get back, our top 5 unnecessary sequels. And welcome back to Alternating. We're talking about our top 5 unnecessary sequels. Carrie, we talked a little bit about it at the beginning. What is unnecessary sequel? Does it have to be a bad sequel? Can it be good?
You just stole my criteria. That's all I had.
It's just bad?
No. There's a big difference between bad and unnecessary. And
All right.
I'm saying you have to really
Lots of sequels are bad.
Right.
Some of those bad sequels weren't unnecessary. They were just bad.
Exactly. So to be unnecessary, you had to have followed a story or a movie that told a complete story, where you felt whole when the movie was over, where it was over. It resolved itself. You weren't asking yourself any questions. You weren't considering, what is the life of so-and-so? Where could they be now? And it was over. And then they made another one.
Yes.
Okay.
So I have some that are good and bad on my list.
Did
but
you allow for movies past sequel, like third, fourth, fifth
No.
installments?
let me check.
So like Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me being necessary, but Austin Powers and Goldmember being simply just
Correct.
why?
Yeah. What are
Why?
your thoughts on that?
No. I
not
only
include
went
those.
with sequels, direct sequel.
Okay. And
Right.
then how did you rank them as far as being more unnecessary or less unnecessary? Or how did you rank your 5?
I think I just put
kinda-
them on the
put
paper.
them on a paper.
I couldn't
Oh, that's
choose.
fine.
I can
That
tell
was
you
the
were
hardest
very
part.
invested in this topic. I feel good about
I
it.
feel good. I think I went with, I don't know.
Well, you told me earlier that you went through like every single, like you pulled up some sort of like sequel list of every movie sequel and you went through them.
Yeah, I think it was a bad list.
Thousands of
It was
movies.
a bad list. It wasn't that long.
Wasn't very comprehensive. All right.
There have been over 40 movie sequels in history.
Yeah. So that's all I had. What did you guys have? Anything different?
Well, I will say that I agree. An unnecessary sequel is one where basically, it's sort of a subjective thing. If I put myself in the position of someone who just saw this movie and I hear they're making another one, my immediate reaction is, oh God, no, why? So sometimes you don't have that reaction. Sometimes you're like, okay, well, I guess, I wouldn't have expected that, but I'm interested. Sometimes you have the like, oh yeah, I can't wait to see what happens next. But no, so this was the ones where I was like, oh, please don't do that. Like the story was perfect. It has nowhere to go. You've said everything you can say. Now, here's the thing. The name of this episode was not our 5 most unnecessary sequels. It was our top 5 unnecessary sequels. So my list consists of movies that triggered that like, oh God, no.
Right.
But then I think turned out really well.
Okay.
Ranked by how well I think they turned out.
Okay.
Oh, I should have done that. That sounds better than my plan.
You're just doing the most unnecessary sequels.
The most unnecessary. Yeah, that's what I did. And it's same
right.
same logic to get there.
I took a peek at the commenters, and about a third of them agree with me and about 2/3 agree with you.
Yeah.
And I think I'm more with Tim.
You're more with Tim?
I think so.
You went
I tried to order them in I like the movie order too.
So you were originally, when you found out the sequel was happening, you're like, it shouldn't be. Why are they continuing a story that I feel like is complete?
No, I didn't have that.
But then turned out to be good movies.
No, that wasn't actually my
because
criteria.
when I look at my list,
actually,
it's like an average of maybe 10%.
No, I was excited about the sequels for these, but I just mean the ones where I felt like if I think back to the original, there was no part in my mind that I ever thought it needed to have a sequel.
Yeah, I try to rank mine by most unnecessary.
Yeah, and I will say some of the ones on my list came out at a point in history when I would not have had that response. So I saw them without ever really thinking, why would they make this sequel? But, I'm putting myself mentally back in the position.
Tim, the movies on your list, then pretty well liked or well acclaimed?
I would say so.
Carrie, yours?
Oh, yeah. For
really?
sure.
Yeah, because mine, no, not so much.
These are all favorites out there.
Okay. All right.
You just have like Blood Rain 2, 3, 4, and 5 on your list, don't you?
But
do you?
We'll get into the criteria a little bit more too.
Okay, so should I start?
Some movies are set up for sequels, so I didn't include those.
Right.
That's the thing.
If I didn't want to see a sequel and it was set up for a sequel, I did not make that.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I did not want to see Pirates of the Caribbean 3 after I saw Pirates of the Caribbean 2, but I would not say it was unnecessary. There was a sequel.
Right.
Yeah. If the movie ends with the potential for a sequel,
agreed.
Then it's
that's not. This is where the sequel had to be forced.
And I think what I'm noticing on my list, I don't know if you'll notice this too, is I think these were surprises for a lot. That maybe the first movie made money, and they're like, green light, we got to figure out how to get this back, get this mojo happening again.
I think that's true of a lot of mine.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Number 5 to you, Carrie.
Number 5 is one that you guys didn't think about, but you should have. It's from a year, maybe Tim, you'll know, directed by Howard Zeif. And written by Janet Koilacek.
Okay.
Every time we do this, it's a question.
I'm wondering if Tim's going to hone in on what it is.
Is this Edge of Tomorrow?
Close. It was the Edge of Tomorrow for me when I saw following the events of My Girl 1.
Yeah, I did forget about this
one of the most emotionally scarring movies of my life, starring Veda, a girl who goes through one of the most emotionally scarring moments of her life. And now you come into My Girl 2. That whole movie was perfection, My Girl 1. It ended. It resolved itself. She had her emotional come to resolution. The whole thing was over, and then they came out with My Girl 2. Unnecessary, but the second one tracks Veda now that she's grown into a young woman. And the whole thing is built around this premise that she doesn't know who her mom is. And so it's an adventure where she goes out to figure out who her birth mother
should
is.
have been that she's now a serial killer who uses bees.
Who uses, right.
Oh, that would be sweet. I was thinking also maybe more like Pet Sematary 2, where maybe she digs up Macaulay.
Well, I was thinking like the first one's like the origin story where she doesn't realize that you can kill people with bees, and it like twists something in her brain.
Or what happens if you find out in the second one that she was the reason the bees happened in the first one?
She like put honey on his body. She dropped the hive.
It was her fault though.
It was her fault. Yeah.
Which, gosh, how do you live with that? Anyway.
Maybe that should have been the plot. She can't.
Good call, though.
Yeah.
Very unnecessary.
No, very unnecessary.
I did not think about
unnecessary.
it.
Anna Klumsky's
I totally,
in this.
honestly forgot it existed.
The thing is, it wasn't terrible, but I just didn't need it.
Sure.
It was Anna Klumsky, who's been doing a bunch of stuff in TV lately. She was in Veep, maybe?
Yeah, Veep. Nice job, yeah.
And Dan Aykroyd plays the dad. Jamie Lee Curtis is the mom. This has Austin O'Brien, who does not stand up to, what's the kid that smacks his face in Home Alone? Macaulay Culkin does not stand up to Macaulay Culkin.
I like that is how you describe the career of Macaulay Culkin.
It's the peak. That's my number 5.
It is, though.
So what is your number 5?
So here's my number 5. I'm going to set up a scenario for you, right?
Okay.
It's the 21st century.
All right.
And some fat-ass actor with a huge ego problem starts talking about how he wants to return to one of his great roles of the past. It's a series that produced 5 movies, and every one was worse than the one preceding it. He's now talking about making a movie where he in his fat old manness is going to be a boxer. And you're like, fuck that. No, I do not need to see Sylvester Stallone in the year 2006 pretending to be a boxer again. Along comes the 6th movie in the Rocky franchise, Rocky Balboa. Lo and behold, maybe the best in the series at that point, certainly the second best in the series at that point. Really amazingly beautiful story about aging, figuring out how to make your body work when it doesn't want to anymore. And a really just wonderful follow-up to Rocky and Rocky 2, and I think it kind of ignores the others, because why shouldn't it? Because they're all crap. But this is a movie that I had...
haven't actually said the title yet.
Rocky Balboa.
Oh, that's the title?
That's the title, Rocky
this
Balboa.
Was Creed that you were talking about.
No. Creed was necessary. I heard that they were making Creed, and I was like, yeah, that sounds really cool. Rocky Balboa from 2006, I heard that they were making, and I was like, no, that just sounds like dog shit.
So this is which number is this?
This is the 6th Rocky.
6th, okay.
It's the 6th fucking Rocky. It came out 20 years after the 5th Rocky. Why? But it's great. It's to me one of the great moments in the Stallone renaissance of the 2000s. So,
have you seen this, Rob?
Yeah, I have, and I enjoy it quite a bit more. I'm a sucker for the 4th. All Rockies actually for me work pretty well, except for the 5th one.
The 5th one is terrible but campy. The 4th one is just terrible.
Yeah.
The 4th one's the one with the robot, right?
Yes, with the robot serving drinks.
Yes.
That's funny that's what your takeaway.
That is my big old takeaway from Rocky 4.
For me, it's the training montage, the 2 variations on training, which they have in all of them.
I was going to say the training montage in a Rocky movie.
But,
you say.
I've never seen any of them.
You've never seen any of the Rockies?
But I use
Rocky and Creed are worth seeing. Rocky Balboa is worth seeing if you like Rocky 1.
I don't know that I'm not really into boxing, but I like to use the quotes from it a lot. When I'm in a crowd and I can't get to Rob, I scream out Adrian really loud.
That makes sense.
But people think I've seen the movie and they think I'm cool when I'm screaming that in a crowd.
They would think you're cool.
And really, I haven't.
The other quote you should use is, you're going to eat lightning and crap thunder, Rock.
That doesn't roll off the tongue quite as
well. I didn't
quite
deliver
as much.
it right.
No, okay.
Eat lightning and crap thunder.
You're going to eat lightning and crap thunder.
Can you really picture me saying that?
I can. That's the thing.
So here's a question for you, Tim. Creed 2, unnecessary sequel?
Creed 2 is not an unnecessary sequel. The plot that they're kicking around for Creed 2 is unnecessary.
I think it's almost fully produced.
Oh, is
Dolph Lundgren's son?
Yeah, exactly.
Is going to be the antagonist in this with Dolph Lundgren as
the idea of a Creed 2 I was on board with. Okay. The specific Creed 2 we're getting, I'm not.
So here's a movie I liked as a kid. Came out in 1985. High school movie, which I like my high school movies. Kids not fitting in. Having trouble, not a very talented basketball player either, really not talented at anything, and finds out,
hot damn,
that he's a wolf.
Hot damn.
So that was 1985.
Wolfman 2?
Teen Wolf. Was the original movie, 1985. Then came Teen Wolf 2. Completely unnecessary.
Yep.
Yeah, Teen Wolf 1 had a story of Michael J. Fox.
Does he play the... Is he the
he is the
again?
Teen Wolf.
Again.
He's the Teen Wolf. No, not again.
No.
He refused.
Although it's funny that you say again, because what Rob has not yet pointed out is that Teen Wolf 2 does not have an Arabic 2, nor does it have a classy Roman 2. No, sir. It is spelled Teen Wolf, T-O-O.
Also. Yeah.
Nice.
Also a
Kinda
Teen
like
Wolf.
It's his cousin. Played by the first acting role of Jason Bateman in
so the
film.
the wolf blood's in the family kind of
Wolf
thing.
blood is in the family.
Okay.
So it's not a bit by a werewolf. It's just like your mama fucked a werewolf.
Oh,
the first one made a ton of money, enough money.
It made enough money.
It made enough money where they were like, we got to get another one going. Hey, Michael J. Fox, how about we follow you into college? And now you're dealing with being a wolf in college. And he was like, absolutely
by this point, he had had Back to the Future, so he did not need it.
And he was still filming Family Ties featuring Justine Bateman.
Yeah.
Sister of Justin Bateman, who
That's
took on the
his
role
sister?
of... Yeah.
Wait. The brown-haired
Jason
one
Bateman
is
Justine,
Jason
yeah.
Bateman's? I never knew.
Yeah.
What's her
Someone
name?
is not a fan of Arrested Development.
Mallory? No. What's her name in the show?
I think it is
I
Mallory.
think it is Mallory.
Oh, yeah.
I'd read the plot of this, but it is exactly the same beats and follows exactly. I think even Styles is in this.
So not good, though.
Rather than basketball, it is boxing. So that's the sport that he's in. Are you familiar with the first one?
No.
He tries to make it on the basketball team. He's not very good.
Maybe.
Then when he turns into a wolf, he's very good. And then realizes
the plot.
He doesn't need the.
Does he
wolf
ever
to
go
be
to
good.
Is there ever a shaving montage?
There's like a styling, like he styles. No, the wolf is cool. Everybody likes the wolf. Nobody likes him.
That's the thing. That he is a wolf is not like a conflict.
Oh, okay. Why would it be?
No.
Very accepting crew.
So yeah, everybody wants the wolf, and then spoiler, like he realizes that he doesn't need the wolf to be successful or to get the girl. Or
okay.
But it turns out no one likes him as a human, so he has to move to another town. Shame. Very sad ending.
I don't think I'd like this movie.
Still made money. No, it did not make. It made for $3 million, brought in $8 million.
It probably did not lose the producers any money.
It didn't.
Sadly,
it did well.
They did not
well
learn their
enough.
lesson.
Will Griffin and Constance Wozniak, audience members, also had Teen Wolf 2 on their list. 7% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That
7%.
seems generous.
Your number 4, Care.
My number 4, Tim often does this to me where he calls out one that's not a good pick and it ends up being on my list. And that makes me number 4.
All right.
Which is
I didn't call it anything
my
specific,
bag, baby. My bag.
Oh, there you
No,
go.
that's totally unnecessary.
Really? No, but
course it
I'm
is.
going with The Spy Who Shagged
Totally,
Me.
that was a joke. No, that's unnecessary as shit.
Yeah, right? Is it on your list?
No.
Oh.
Because mine are only good movies, and this is bad.
So I didn't mind Heather Graham in this, but I didn't think it was totally the worst.
It is actually my least favorite Austin Powers.
It's not good, but I didn't exclude it for being bad. So I didn't have that same exclusion.
Right.
I have a blend.
That's why it's not on my list, though.
Yeah, I have a hybrid of good and bad in here. So Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me from 1999. This is Jay Roche. He did the first one too, right?
Yeah, he did all 3.
And then Mike Myers, also starring in the movie. Couple positions he plays.
3, in fact. If I'm not mistaken.
So the Dr. Evil. Who's the third?
The Scottish guy.
Oh, the heavier set man?
Heavy set
Fat
gentleman
bastard.
from Scotland.
Oh, God.
I'm not sure he's in 2 or 3. I don't remember.
He's in 2 and in 3.
I forgot about it.
So he plays 2 characters in 1, 3 characters in 2, and 4 characters in 3.
All right.
He adds a new character every time.
Okay, good to know. So this is the return of Dr. Evil, who's invented a new time machine that allows him to go back to the 1960s and steal Austin Powers' mojo, which is a real big conflict at the time, leaving him shagless. Bye-bye. And I didn't feel good about that. I practiced the baby before
That's
this.
okay.
Does it sound kind of like him?
Nope.
Bye-bye. No.
Nope.
All right. So really, I actually thought the first movie is not my bag in reality, no pun, but I enjoyed it. Like it was funny and it was silly and it was goofy and out of the box. This was just unnecessary. The second one.
See, for me, I expected them to make another one.
What was the thing that wasn't resolved for you?
But did you want them to make another one? Did you see the first one and say, I'm going to feel very satisfied when they make a sequel to
At
this
the
movie?
point in time, I wanted more Dr. Evil. I mean, everybody was doing Dr. Evil. And
Well, that's the thing.
Voices.
The movie did not do well, Austin Powers 1. It was huge on DVD. It was one of the first massive DVD hits.
I'll give it to you that it was worse and bad and all that, but I don't know if it was.
It was there wasn't anything that left me wanting more after the first one.
No.
Okay.
And certainly, it was one of those things that you just knew the minute they announced it where it was going to go and it went there.
Yeah, it did. It was some of the same. So that was my number 4.
Yep.
What is
here's my number 4. So 1979, right?
Okay.
We've just seen Sigourney Weaver at great personal expense to defeat this creepy xenomorph alien. And we're like, okay, I feel good. Life's good. She goes back home. Movie ends. Alien, 1979, Ridley Scott. Now, it made a lot of
I
money.
don't understand where you're going here.
It made a lot of money. So clearly they're going to make an Aliens.
Sure.
So they're making Aliens.
Necessary.
No, not even remotely. Like, she's killed the alien. The alien's gone. The alien was a weird, aberrant, horrible thing. It's done now. Now the plot comes out. She's going to go back to the planet, which is the laziest conceivable way to write a sequel hook. And of course, Aliens, directed by James Cameron and released in 1986, is one of the great sequels. Like, it is almost every bit as good as the first one, despite breaking every rule I can possibly come up with for a sequel, which is that it just repeats the plot. They're going back to the planet, and
But there was Newt.
But Newt was not someone we knew existed at the time. Newt is not.
Oh, I knew
seated.
she was coming.
Did you?
I did.
I don't think that's true.
I can't believe you're picking this.
Well, no, because it's unnecessary.
So Tim's list is different than ours.
My
Jared.
list is that it's unnecessary, but it justified itself.
Okay.
And I will stand by this. I will say,
but
if you tell me they're making a sequel to Alien, which is this perfect gem, this perfectly
you didn't want more after it was over.
I don't want any more. I got exactly what I wanted. I got this flawless little slasher movie in space. What can you possibly add to that? Turns out you can add a metaphor for the Vietnam War, and it's a damn good one.
But it still made your list.
Because it's a great movie.
That
was an unnecessary sequel.
Okay.
I've also learned something.
My list is made out of movies. It's a Vietnam War metaphor.
Yeah.
It's totally about Vietnam.
I did not piece that together. Very
good.
good.
The times you guys said it was sexual too. That's still up in the
That's
air.
absolutely for sure.
Not
Agree to disagree.
oblique.
Agree to disagree.
But anyway, so my point being, Alien is this absolutely perfect self-contained movie. Why do we need to add to it?
So there was never, I'm trying to remember back from the first one, there wasn't anything in the end where like she left and there was a little egg laying on the table?
Micron of the suggestion that there will be a sequel to this movie. Because it wasn't supposed to be a hit. It was like supposed to just be a shitty little B movie that they kind of inadvertently gave an A movie budget.
All right, well then that is a good pick, I guess.
Thank you.
I suppose.
I feel good about it. I feel very good about it.
What's yours?
My number 4 started out with the original movie followed an immortal.
Okay.
Someone who
I knew this was going to be on somebody's list.
Could not be killed unless you beheaded them, and ended.
No idea.
Here we are.
Still no. Give me another clue.
Okay. I feel like that's pretty good.
Here we are, because you have to sing a little bit more.
Ended where there could only be one. And there was only one. That's where the movie ended.
Yep.
I think he was.
There was only one.
There was just the one.
I didn't know there was a number 2 to this.
There were 4.
There were too many.
There were 4 and
This is
also
Highlander?
a TV series.
This is Highlander.
This is Highlander 2. The Quickening.
Oh.
Picks up 5 years later. Again, the first one made a lot of money where the producers wanted to cash in and keep it going. No one in this movie wanted to be in this movie. Christopher how do you pronounce his name? Lambert?
Well, if I think it would be Lambert.
Sean Connery comes back.
Sean Connery coming back is like fucked in the head.
He collected his $3 million of the $16 million budget and donated it all to charity. He knew what he was in for the 10 minutes that he was in it. Michael Ironside famously hated being in this movie, so he realized like, hey, if I think the script is shit, I'm at least gonna just ham it up. I'm just gonna go for it, and he does. And does
he hit it?
Yes, he's kind of the bad guy in this. But what they do with this is not only is it unnecessary because the first movie was complete.
Because the first movie literally resolves any conceivable conflict set in this universe.
Yes, the whole point of becoming the one is then you become
the one.
You become the one,
there is
and
not a 2.
I think you inherit, if I recall, then you're no longer immortal and you can go live a full life. Like that was the whole problem.
I don't remember that, but it's been a while since I've seen it.
Maybe that's not the case. That would have been a great, nice little way to tie it out. But this one, you find him aged. Christopher Lambert's character, the Highlander, Connor McLeod, aging in the future. The sun they've created some sort of thing that blocks out the sun.
The thing that blocks out the sun.
Blocks out the sun.
God, that movie's bad.
And then you find out that all of the Highlanders, all of the immortals, are actually an alien race.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And aliens.
They're mad at Connor. I don't really. And
they go back to the alien planet, right?
They go back to the planet Zerth or something.
Zerth sounds right, actually.
And I don't get it. And Sean Connery comes back somehow. It's the one that everybody wishes doesn't exist.
All right.
So it's unnecessary, and on top of being unnecessary, it's terrible. Rotten Tomatoes 0%.
That is somehow still too high.
0.
Like if you go to this page on Rotten Tomatoes, you should like wipe your hard drive.
Audience members Powpuck and WBTN also had it on.
Wow.
It is the planet Zeist.
Close.
Zerth is better.
Yeah.
Zeist is still very good.
You should write in on that one, Rob. So I'm going to go to my number 3, and this definitely meets Tim's criteria, I believe.
All right.
And it is such a good pick that you guys forgot about. This is a Steven Soderbergh original. Okay. It's also written by George Nolfi. And this brings you...
I buy it.
Yeah.
I buy
Ocean's 12.
Oh, okay.
Right? So after the events of Ocean's 11, where Danny Ocean is in this perfect movie with Julia Roberts and all of these perfect people, he goes on this heist to steal a bunch of money from this casino. And also the casino owner is dating his ex-wife. Or they're like, are they on a break or are they divorced?
Divorced.
Yeah. So he's dating his divorced wife while he's in jail. This is going back to George Clooney, who plays Danny Ocean. So anyway, the second one brings us back. The whole movie resolves so perfectly. It was like this perfect movie. It ends.
At the fountain.
At the fountain.
Yeah.
It's perfect. And then you get Ocean's 12, and it's like, oh, I got a phone call from that guy I stole the money from, and he wants it back.
Terry
Roderick, Terry Valentine. Really want it back. So and I'm gonna tell on you if you don't give me back all this $190 million or whatever it was. And so they have to go and steal more money.
Yes, they do.
To like buy him off.
I gotta be honest.
And it was unnecessary.
This is one that
I love this movie.
I said one of the things that like disqualified it is if I heard the movie was coming out and I was like, oh yeah, I do want to see that. And I really wanted to see this.
I totally love this movie.
No, I love the movie, but like also I was excited for it. Like this was one where I was like, I wanted to spend more time with
But there was no part of you that the first one ended and you thought, oh, I really need a sequel to this. What other things are they going to do?
Oh, no. But like it's a multi-step thing for me. Like first I have to feel like there's nowhere for it to go. And then when I hear they are making it, I have to feel bad about it. And I felt good about it.
Okay, yeah.
I did feel good about it. But I still respect that you did not.
I did not.
And I was kind of I had so much fun with the first one. I didn't know what they would do, or you're right, it resolves itself, so it meets that criteria for being unnecessary. But
I mean, hell, I'm even excited for Ocean's 8, and it ain't even directed by Steven Soderbergh.
Who's doing that one?
Gary Ross.
Oh, okay.
Seabiscuit.
All right, Tim. Number 4 to you.
Number
three
to me.
Sorry,
number three to me. So this is going to be another one that I'm going to have to very slowly explain my criterion because it's, again, straight up masterpiece.
Okay.
The movie turned out very, very well.
I know where this is going.
Where's it going?
No, just keep going.
All right.
Is it Disney?
It is not a Disney.
Okay, keep going.
So I actually don't like any of Disney sequels.
Okay.
Of course, there aren't that many. But anyway, so 1972, The Godfather.
Sure.
Tells us the story of the fall of Michael Corleone. He has fallen. He has bottomed out. There is nowhere left for him to go. But we're going to get a 3.5 hour movie of him bottoming out even further. Plus, we're going to see how his father became the Godfather. So it's both a needless sequel and a needless prequel, because I don't want either one of those stories. I don't need them. The Godfather is this flawless American tragedy. Lo and behold, 1974's The Godfather Part 2 is, I think, a better film. I think it is the best of the Godfathers. Yeah, I think someone had that
on their sequel better than the original, I think.
Yeah, I think it is a sequel that is better than the original. Francis Ford Coppola adapting the part of the book he hadn't already adapted, which is the story of Don Vito Corleone as a young man in Italy, coming to the United States where he's played by Robert De Niro, and then with new material, which is basically about like Michael Corleone, his son, played by Al Pacino, trying to like do shit in Cuba right before the revolution, and it goes a little corkscrew shaped. Again, like The Godfather is such a flawlessly shaped tragedy, and I cannot imagine why I need to see any more of Michael Corleone's arc after that point. It turns out that his arc becomes a lot deeper and weirder and more complex and even more beautifully tragic in part 2. But yeah, I mean, like, again, this has the addition of being based on a book that ends at the point that the first movie ends. So like, they don't even have new material. They're just like pulling shit out of their ass. But they pulled very good shit out of their ass.
So when this came out, you were like, oh.
When this came out, I hadn't been born yet.
Oh, right. Yeah. Or,
I would have been, though. If you told me,
look like you were born
told me
then,
you're going to make a Godfather Part 2, I'm just going to be like, oh, fuck you. It's because it made a lot of money.
Right.
You want to make more money. I don't need it.
Right.
But I did need it. I needed it real bad.
I've not seen any.
You haven't seen
Godfather.
any of them? That shocks me.
I know.
That's your wheelhouse. It's like
that's so your wheelhouse.
Guns and gangs.
I will say, I know Andy Garcia is in one of them.
He is in the bad one. Also unnecessary. Even more unnecessary than Part 2 is Part 3. However, is very not good.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
What popped in my mind, I'm going to be this guy, Terry Benedict.
Terry Benedict.
Because then I was thinking Andy Garcia, and then Benedict popped in my mind. But I need to see The Godfather.
You do.
So that you can judge him.
Is there like a Cliff's Notes?
No.
Well, I just gave it to you. It's the American tragedy of a...
No. Of the 3 movies where I could like watch in like a 2-hour span.
Why would you want to do that?
I don't know.
Your parent.
Seems like a big investment.
Don't watch the third one. Just watch the first 2.
Okay. Let's see.
Watch it with your kids.
Number 3 to me.
They're tough.
This one also a complete story. Nowhere to go. No, you wouldn't want it to go anywhere because it doesn't make any sense that this would be revisited, but somehow they bring them back. It is actually our poster image.
Okay.
And the sequel took place 4 years later because they made a ton of money on the first one.
Did it actually?
It made a lot of money.
That is too bad.
It's a low production value, like not a whole lot. You fly to the Caribbean or whatever.
Tell me what happens in this movie.
And Weekend at Bernie's, the original?
No, I've seen the original. How do you possibly do a sequel to this?
By making him a zombie.
Yep. Voodoo.
Wait, so he's
Voodoo
alive?
Corpse? Well, he's alive, but not really. He kind of...
But so he doesn't actually need anyone to hold him up anymore?
He needs music. I think if music is playing,
That
my
tracks with my memory.
his body starts kind of like coming to life to the beat of the music with like a little bit of a...
And I say the
a head
movie,
nod.
I've seen the trailer, but I remember that being the plot of the trailer.
This is terrible.
And
It's canonically one of the like bad movies.
What are they doing
Nazis.
from like a decomposition perspective?
oh, he's fine.
He's fine.
Yeah, he's fine.
Okay.
And there's some hidden money somewhere, and only Bernie knows where it is. He buried some money somewhere, so people are trying like that. Yeah, they did this voodoo curse so that he could help lead. So every time music plays, he gets closer and closer. He's kind of walking towards the money, and then Andrew McCarthy and Jonathan Silverman somehow get wrapped back into this, wanting the money likely.
This kind of feels necessary.
No.
Now that you're talking about it.
It was a movie
I
about
needed
a,
to know
a
what
dead
happened
guy.
to Bernie after that.
What happened to Bernie is he
got buried.
Dead. He's dead.
Because that's
It's
what you
over.
do with corpses. You respect their memory and you put them in the
But
ground.
as we know, corpses can come back.
I feel bad for Terry Kaiser, who plays Bernie.
He does play Bernie.
The only
Playing
other
is a very
yeah.
Has he been
advised
in
word.
anything else?
The only other movie I could think of that he was in was Mannequin Part 2.
I almost put that on my list,
That's actually pretty good.
but I haven't seen it.
He plays the guy
But-
with the mole
I mean,
and the long
I don't
hair.
know that that's a disqualification in this particular
right.
list.
He's kind of
I
really
love
like
Mannequin
evil.
One, though.
He's probably played some evil guys before because he's kind of got
Yeah.
that look about him. But definitely unnecessary in my book. Although I'm sure we're going to get some sort of. Yeah, this was the other thing.
No,
Or you-
Weekend at Bernie's 2 has not been reclaimed, if that's what you were saying.
Yeah, that's
to
what I was
say.
going to say. Is like, did that count if a movie for you was redone or rebooted?
What, are they remaking it?
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah,
that's
that'd be sweet.
No, that would be awful.
Well, no, but does a reboot count as a sequel?
No.
No.
Oh, okay.
Different.
If
That
it's one
was-
of those sequels that's a soft reboot, then maybe, but not like a straight up remake, no.
Okay, the concise statement audience member also had Weekend at Bernie's 2 on his list as well.
Alrighty.
His or her list.
This one, I think, probably made a lot of people's list. Maybe one of yours, not Tim's, but it's animated. And it's a sequel that's amazing and wonderful, but unnecessary. And that is the 2016 Finding Dory.
I'll agree.
This kind of would almost make my list if you had not mentioned that it was amazing.
It was cute.
It's not good.
It's pretty good.
kinda bad.
It's kind of great, though.
I agree it's unnecessary.
It's fucking unnecessary.
So it's directed by Andrew Stanton and written by him too. This has Ellen DeGeneres in it, you people. And it has some other people. Al Brooks is in this, Ed O'Neill. So the first one, there's Nemo, and he goes out and he gets lost, and he gets helped by Dory. And
Technically, Nemo's dad gets helped by Dory.
that's part of the movie. Don't spoil over there. Spoil. So then the second one follows up with Dory, who he meets, has a little bit of a memory problem. And so this one comes back and they're going to help the friendly but forgetful blue tangfish, Dory, begin her search for her long lost parents. You're not actually wondering about this in the first one. And you love Dory. You think Dory's great, but you're not actually wondering about what happened to her parents.
No, it doesn't seem like her memory is caused by any sort of event. It just seems like,
No.
oh, she's just a fish.
Yeah, she's just a fish. So
Lot
the
of
first
fish.
one ends, you're not actually thinking, oh, I need a sequel. And then it came out and, was it a sequel better than the original? No.
Absolutely not.
But still cute and good, and I really liked it. Many people did,
They made a lot of money.
but it was unnecessary.
Totally.
Yeah, this is when I heard I guess I was kind of excited to understand a little bit of the backstory for Dory, but yeah.
This one was so unnecessary that I was prepared to write off Pixar Animation Studios as a creative enterprise because they announced it.
Wow. So very unnecessary. So
Very
had
unnecessary.
it been good, then it would have definitely made it on your list. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That is more unnecessary than the 5 films I have put together.
Okay.
It is.
Wow.
It is. So that was my number 2.
So my number 2, a movie so flagrantly unnecessary. Here's how this movie begins. So the original film based on a book.
Okay.
The sequel begins by showing the author of that book talking about how she wants to tell the story of what happened after. And the other people in the room with her are like, Mary Shelley, you can't, there is no more story. Like,
I got
Frankenstein
it.
burned.
Yeah.
Where's the story? And she's like, well, let me tell you about how he made a bride of Frankenstein. James Whale, 1935. Again, Frankenstein ends by killing off the main characters. They're dead. They burn to death in a mill.
So how does the bride come up in this situation?
He didn't die.
Okay.
So he makes a bride.
What do you mean makes a bride?
He makes a bride for his monster.
The way, you
get to make a monster. You make a monster again, but instead of giving him, a whatever, you give him the other one.
And that.
So and a couple of those.
Okay.
So so like again, I mean, part of it is just like it is such an early sequel. It's when they were still like trying to feel their way through like what is this thing called the sequel. Second, it's that it's so ridiculously unnecessary that the movie calls attention to how unnecessary it is as its opening narrative gambit. It literally opens with a scene where Mary Shelley is entertaining a group of people by telling them, I'm going to figure out how to make a sequel to Frankenstein. And they're like, fuck you. And she's like, fuck you. And that's how it starts.
Nice.
But they don't say fuck you because it's 1935. Oh, it's so good. It's better than the first.
From our outtakes, we know that the F word does exist in 1935.
Well, they couldn't say it in movies.
Oh, got it.
But this is a movie easily better than the original. One of my favorite sequels, period. But boy, howdy, it is definitely something that in 1931, you've just seen Frankenstein, probably loved it, would not cross your mind in a billion years that you would want to see a sequel to it.
Was she looking good? Like, what was her look?
She's got that whole, like, the hair with the white stripe. And
does she have the little things out the side, too?
She doesn't have the things out the side.
Okay.
No bolts.
She just has, her hair looks like electricity.
All right.
Eyes wide open.
So have you not seen Bride of Frankenstein?
No, I haven't.
Have you seen the original Frankenstein?
I've read the book.
Well, the book is not remotely like the movies at all. That's
I've
the other great
neither.
thing is like it's Mary Shelley talking about how she's going to write a sequel to her own story, but the story is not even vaguely Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. But really good movies if you haven't seen the Frankensteins. I think the whole franchise is at least worth watching, even the really crappy ones. But the first two, Frankenstein from 1931 and Bride of Frankenstein from 1935, outstanding films. And Bride of Frankenstein, one of the all-time great sequels.
So that's
and
your
one of the
number two,
all-time
right?
unnecessary sequels.
Is that 2 for you?
That's my 2.
Man.
2 for me. It'll be curious if you consider this more of a spin-off. I think it's considered a sequel, but I have no idea why.
We'll tell you.
The first one takes place with Harrison Ford.
Okay.
Trying to solve the mystery of the death of his wife. Many people think it was him who did it.
There's no What Lies Beneath 2.
Oh.
And Tommy Lee Jones is tracking him because he's a fugitive.
Oh,
This is
there was
The Fugitive.
a Fugitive 2?
Kind of. There was a movie called U.S. Marshals because the first movie
sequel.
it's a sequel.
It
kind of.
It is kind of a sequel.
Yeah.
Just because it has Harrison Ford doesn't
No,
mean
it has Tommy Lee Jones.
That's the whole point. At least they had the common sense not to I don't know if he has a second wife, how they would do it. Like Harrison Ford has a second wife that then also dies, and then they consider him again as the suspect. No, this one just follows U.S. Marshal, whatever his name is, Sam Gerard. Tommy Lee Jones'
How many years
character.
did this follow?
5 years later.
Okay.
This was the last film to be, well, not last film, but the last film to debut behind Titanic.
Okay.
Or something like it was number 2 the weekend that Titanic was number 1 for the
97.
last time.
That's right. Or
98.
98. Yeah.
The Fugitive was so good.
Yeah,
Fugitive
it
was
was
good.
and it was a complete movie. The One-Armed Man, mystery solved.
Oh, I forgot about the One-Armed
Roll
Man.
credits.
Don't
We don't need to know anything else. And
Weird.
It picks up and it follows a completely other plot line that has nothing to do with the original. It's really just keeping the character of Sam Gerard going, which I didn't even find him some nice banter back and forth with Harrison Ford, but certainly I wasn't.
By the way, the
hoping
thing
for
that
a
I just
full
said
movie.
was true is not even vaguely true, so ignore that I said it.
What part? She has
Titanic?
bolts in
About
her neck?
Titanic.
Oh, okay.
So you've not seen this movie?
I saw The Fugitive.
Follows Wesley Snipes is now the new fugitive, so to speak, who
The Fugitive?
the fugitive, and Robert Downey Jr.'s in this, which I forgot about until I read
Weird.
this, and
Sounds terrible.
no, it's
actually a decent movie.
There's a
Really?
really good scene, like one of the best scenes, action scenes. Something with a rope swing onto a moving train,
It's
which
a good scene.
where
It's
they
not,
actually
it's not one of the best anythings.
From a stunt
One of
perspective-
the best rope swinging scenes.
most
maybe.
rope swinging scenes ever captured
In
on
1997.
camera. No, and just
in a movie
general.
named U.S. Marshal.
From 7 Stories Up, the stuntman actually swung on a wire and jumped onto a moving train.
Yeah.
And they did it all in, they only had
One cut.
one take.
Okay.
Because that's as many times as you'd probably want to do that maneuver.
Right.
Would this movie have been better if you didn't even know that it was tied to another
And that's
movie?
the thing. It was completely unnecessary. Make it the own movie.
Like
your own
unnecessary is a good word for it. Although I do distinctly remember when they announced it, I was like, oh well, that's weird, but all right.
Yeah.
I guess I can.
I'll see it.
I guess an anthology of films based on Sam Gerard is not the worst imaginable idea.
Sure.
But it was the only one they made.
Yep. Only one they made.
Unless you count No Country for Old Men.
Because, I mean, isn't there something to like the property rights? Like it could be you might as well just make a new movie.
Right. I mean, basically.
Yeah.
Although, I think there's some, because he's a memorable character. Tommy Lee Jones won the Oscar, and I think that's really what done it.
Did he win the Oscar?
For The Fugitive.
He did?
Yeah.
Was that performance that great?
Yeah. It's really fucking good.
I don't remember that.
You need to rewatch The Fugitive, man. That's a
gosh.
good movie. The movie was
I know. I like
The Fugitive is nominated for Best Picture.
I just remember in the tunnel and like some sort of interesting funny banter.
It's hard to
This is
imagine
not
a movie
about
like that
sequels
getting
or U.S.
nominated
Marshals,
today.
but I need to say it anyway. So the scene in the tunnel. You're talking about the one where Harrison
The
Ford comes
water's
out and
dripping.
it ends with, I didn't kill my wife, I don't care, and he jumps.
Yeah.
There was a whole big scene there. This is part of the reason why Tommy Lee Jones is a great actor. Whole big scene there where they like debate morality and like crime and law and whatever. And Harrison Ford and Tommy Lee Jones were both like, "This is dumb. Like this is not the moment that this moment would not happen this way. Like these are two tensed characters with guns." So they go to the director and say, "We don't like this scene," and he basically said, "Well, what would you do?" So they each looked at all the lines their characters said over this very long conversation, broke them down to what is the one thing each character is trying to communicate. I didn't kill my wife. I don't care. And that was the scene. Great stuff.
Great. It is a great scene.
It's a great scene.
Good
It's a
story.
great scene.
Oscar winner. Wow.
Oscar-winning film.
I can't imagine something like that winning today, but anyway.
Audience member Grant Hange also had this on their list.
You just go out to that list and just copy or write down, don't you?
Sounds like.
No, I find matches. These are my matches.
Yeah,
my
sure.
soulmates.
Sure. Did anyone match up with my number one? This one is another classic that you guys have forgotten about too. Don't also have a year on this one, but maybe you can help me out.
I can help you out.
This is probably in your top 20 of all time.
All right.
So
Passion of Joan of Arc was not technically a sequel.
Oh, shoot. So this one is follows one of the best cinematic pieces of all time, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Oh, that was super unnecessary.
This is something in the 90s. Honey, I Blew Up the Kid.
1992.
92. This is Randall Kleiser and Gary Goudreau doing it up the second time. The first one was so good. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. This Rick Moranis comes up with this machine that goes and like shrinks his kids, and they become very small.
Yep.
And he loses them, and they go out and they go out into
They're
like
in the backyard.
They're with all the ants. The ants and then the scorpion.
And the water.
I know. And then they're trying to like feed him, and then the ant is really sick, and it's very sad. And it starts to make you think about like all the times you've probably stepped on an ant, and you feel very sad as you're watching this movie. That movie was awesome.
Yep.
So good. And then they came out with Honey, I Blew Up the Kid.
Yep.
And it was less awesome. But same Rick Moranis is in this too. Goes out and accidentally blows up,
not explodes his child, causes his child to expand.
Expand. So the child becomes very large. How large? That's an open question.
Large
baby.
enough to cause issues in the Vegas
If
Strip.
I remember, doesn't it just continue to grow and grow?
No.
No.
He is eventually brought down to baby size. It's a Disney movie.
No, but I mean, like the thing that after he zaps him, the baby's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I
think that is the case.
Right?
Actually.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a long time. So unnecessary.
Very unnecessary. Although I will defend it on 2 counts.
Okay.
One is that it is not the most unnecessary sequel in the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids trilogy, which does after all include the direct-to-video Honey, We Shrink Ourselves.
Sure, but I'm going by sequel being the second film.
2, I feel like if we didn't have Honey, I Blew Up the Kid, we probably wouldn't have Honey, I Shrunk the Audience at Disneyland and Walt Disney World. And I would desire not to give up Honey, I Shrunk the Audience.
Fair
I
point.
need to go on that ride.
Well, it's not currently in Florida. I think it's still in California, though,
Okay.
so that would be where you'd have to go. Really delightful. It's not a ride. It's like an interactive 3D movie where, like, you get shrunk, and, like a snake is around, like, you see the snake, and it's really big because you're shrunk, and it's fun.
Okay.
Also, this is a weird random thing. When I saw this movie as a child in 1992, I was, like, acutely aggrieved by the fact that the, like, little nerd boy in the first movie like went through puberty and became like kind of a player-ish type of character.
Right.
Like,
who was it? That was
I don't remember. Nick was the character's name.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
And he's wrong. He's not the correct evolution of that character.
I agree.
It's very upsetting. Plus, Plus, I feel like Rick Moranis and
I love Rick Moranis.
who plays his wife?
Marcia
Strassman.
Yeah.
They are too old. They're too far along in life to have a baby that young at this point, I think.
That's very.
I mean, they have a daughter going off to college and a 2-year-old. It can happen if you are
slip one past
insufficiently careful with your condoms. And I feel like if you're a PhD,
I feel like
you
Rick
probably
Moranis,
know how to use a condom.
He might have shrunk the condom.
I feel like Rick Moranis thinks that the timing method works.
Right.
He seems like that kind of guy. So that's my number one.
All right. I will spot you that one is splendidly unnecessary.
But what is your... So it's not yours, though.
It is not mine.
What's your number one?
I cheated. Actually, my number one is 2 films.
Okay.
So here's what happened. Pixar makes the movie Toy Story in 1995, and it is great. And I remember very vividly as a 13 going on 14-year-old boy feeling like this was a major transformative moment in my life and cinema. I loved it. A couple of years later, Disney forces Pixar basically to make a sequel. And this sounds fucking horrible because how can you possibly go anywhere from that wonderful ending of Toy Story where Woody and Buzz are friends now and there's a dog and it's ridiculous and cute. And it's okay, that everything resolved in this perfect little darling gag at the end of the movie. So they're making a sequel and it's fuck that. There's no way this is going to be good. What can they do? They're just going to retread it. Instead, they turn it into this amazing story about toy mortality and looking to find ways to sort of have your memory live on. Toy Story 2, 1999, like the first one, directed by John Lasseter. So good. And I mean, I was howling with rage when they announced this movie. I vividly remember it. And then the fucked up thing, they do it again. Around 2007,
but you weren't in rage because by the second one you were "Oh, you guys did it."
They announced Toy Story 3, and I'm like, "Fuck it, that's it. Pixar's done." I just banged the microphone. You probably even heard it. That's how angry I was in 2007 because Pixar was on a roll and they're going to keep making these amazing films. They made the Ratatouille. They've got WALL-E coming up, and then they announced Toy Story 3, and I'm like, "Fuck." How? Why? He's old now. It's stupid. There's no way this could possibly be good. Pixar's gone off the reservation. There's no place left for the studio to go. Toy Story 3, a masterpiece. So good. 2010, directed by Leon Critch, goes even deeper into the themes of toy mortality, has that scene in the incinerator.
That's so bad.
20 straight minutes of that movie that just make me cry. I just cannot stop crying
it's
at the end of Toy Story.
We know.
It's worse than Dumbo, because Dumbo I'm only crying for 2 minutes. Toy Story 3 I'm crying for 15 minutes. I
was excited for both of these.
And so I was dreading them both. Like fists of rage, anger, spitting fire.
Didn't you have any faith from the second one going into the third one? No.
I did not.
So where are you at now?
I'm so fucking angry that they're making Toy Story 4. I want to set John Lasseter on fire.
Oh gosh.
Coming out in 2019.
What is it going to be? College?
I don't know, but it's going to be a great masterpiece.
Oh my gosh.
But right now, I would rather kill my own self than watch it. So
that seems extreme.
This is how intensely I feel about the Toy Stories.
Call me before this movie
But what's
comes
really
out.
fucked up is Toy Story 3 happened in 2010. And so I think, okay, Pixar knows how to make a sequel. This Cars 2 picture is going to be pretty good.
And there it
was.
And
then it was Cars 2. The end.
The end. Good pick. Good pick. I don't know if I agree, but I like it.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where Toy Story 4 goes, but I like that you're sticking with not being excited for it, so that we hope the same result happens.
We now have had a Cars 2 and a Monsters University and Finding Dory, apologies, all of which were kind of bad.
Yeah.
And a Cars 3, which is kind of bad.
Incredibles 2?
We don't know if it's going to be good yet.
No, it could be good.
We don't know if it's going to be good. I want it to be good.
Very necessary.
Very much a necessary sequel. The most necessary sequel Pixar could make.
Not necessary was this follow-up to an action movie that took place in 1994. Felt it was pretty complete, about a vehicle that needed to maintain a particular speed.
Herbie.
Yes, Herbie
the Love Bug 2.
There was a sequel, wasn't there?
There were like 5 Herbies.
I am not speaking of Herbie.
You are speaking of a different four-wheeled vehicle.
Four-wheeled vehicle.
Fast
a
and
bus
Furious.
led by Sandra Bullock.
Oh, gosh.
Assisted by Keanu Reeves. Fine movie.
It's
very nice.
It's solid.
Yeah.
It's a tightly edited, very good movie.
Edge of your seat.
Fast.
Yeah. Don't need to see a boat. Don't need to figure out how to get these characters to go.
I mean, poor fucking Sandra Bullock. How many times does she have to go on out of control speeding like mass transit vehicles?
This is another one. Keanu wouldn't come back for the second one.
He did not want to, and the director was unwilling, really, but he was contractually obligated to do that. Jason Patrick also in this, replacing Keanu in this kind of a role. they wrote him in as being like a secret agent somehow because she doesn't know that she doesn't want to date anybody like a Keanu Reeves type of character.
Right.
And so she figures he's kind of like a more like an accountant or something. I don't remember. But yes, this takes them on a cruise. They're going on a date. And the Willem Dafoe's character is the evil guy.
You have not yet named the movie.
Oh, sorry. Speed 2 Cruise Control. Speaks for itself. Speaks for itself.
Not a movie that you need to go race and see.
No. Willem Dafoe hacks the computer system, modifying it so that it cannot stop or slow down. And it actually does collide, I believe, with the port.
Don't tell.
Who
That's fine.
cares?
Yeah, who cares? At the time, most expensive stunt ever filmed. $25 million of the $110 million budget.
They spent $110.97 to make that movie.
Can you believe it?
$110 million?
$110 million.
Balls.
Yeah.
Didn't make it back.
Oh, no.
That.
It says 100. Well, no. So it says film's 110, but Box Office Mojo says it was made for 160. Probably hurts even more. It's even worse.
That's like fucking, that's what they make movies for now.
I know.
Those buses can be really, really
They had high hopes. I feel bad. John DeBon also did Twister and actually Cradle of Life.
Yeah, Jan de Bont's a terrible fucking director.
Okay.
He makes the worst movies.
Twister's good.
Twister's not good.
Oh, Twister.
Twister's pretty good.
Yeah, thank you. Speed was good.
Speed is fine.
All right.
Speed's his best movie.
The Concise Statement, Constance Wozniak, and Liz also had Speed 2 Cruise Control on their lists. Thank you, everybody, for writing in. Every week, we share your picks and thoughts for a chance to win a free Amazon movie rental. Based on those results, here are your top 5 picks.
Oh, sorry.
At number 5, we had Mad Max Fury Road. Unnecessary?
You know, yes and no. I was excited to see where he was going with it. I would personally say if I'm going to call any of the Mad Maxes unnecessary, probably the second one, probably the Road Warrior, just because like Mad Max doesn't feel like it's setting up anything. It feels like the world has gone to hell and there's nothing left.
This one I forgot was a sequel at number 4, Psycho 2.
That's pretty goddamn unnecessary. You know, I haven't seen any of the Psycho sequels.
I think I'm okay with that.
That's a hard phrase.
Out?
The second one's supposed to be very good.
I thought the guy died in it, doesn't he?
No, he goes to prison.
Oh.
And then Psycho 2 picks up after he leaves prison. I should watch Psycho and Psycho 2
should do that.
4.
This is one where I'm trying to place myself at the time when this movie released if I wanted another sequel, if I was okay. This is Independence Day Resurgence. Bad movie.
Yeah, I'd watch
I have to scan all the way back to 2 whole years ago and try to remember if I was looking forward to it.
No, if I was looking... I'm trying to see... At that point, I guess time had passed. But 94 or whatever, right after this movie,
right after.
I was like, give me some more of this. And
well, that's the thing. There's a little bit of context here because like a 1997 or 98 version of Independence Day 2, sure. A 2016 version is like, ugh.
Yeah.
I mean, once Will Smith hits the point that he's not coming back, that's when it becomes unnecessary, I would say.
Agreed.
We also had at number 2, Speed 2 Cruise Control. Mm-hmm. Very nice.
Wait, I thought we already talked about that. Oh, that was
one of my picks.
Oh, okay. All right. I forgot you
pulse,
copy. I forgot.
Pulse of the audience.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
And then at number 1, Dumb and Dumberer.
Oh.
Okay.
I can see that.
I mean, for me, the existence of Dumb and Dumber 2 has sort of overwritten Dumb and Dumberer in my head.
That's true. Yes, because there was it was almost like a prequel.
It was.
Or when Harry met
Subtitled.
Lloyd. Yes. And then our lucky winner this week, The Concise Statement, and who wrote in unnecessary, huh? So we can't just pick bad sequels. We have to pick projects that shouldn't have been pursued regardless of outcome. So he or she excluded Disney's video premieres or banned from this exercise. Went with number 5, Two Jakes. 4.
Oh.
Two Jakes?
That is a sequel to Chinatown.
I didn't know. Yeah, everybody kept writing in Two Jakes, and I didn't know what that was.
I kind of wish I'd done just bad unnecessary sequels because Two Jakes is a choice.
They also had Speed 2 Cruise Control, 3 Weekend at Bernie's, 2 The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1. Interesting enough.
Intriguing to pick that of all the Hunger Games. Mm-hmm. Maybe referring to the fact that they split it in 2.
And the number 1 on the list, not looking forward to, Toy Story 4.
He's in your camp.
The Concise Statement. Shoot us an email at contact@alternateending.com for details on how to claim your free Amazon movie rental. If you want to win a free Amazon movie rental like The Concise Statement, be on the lookout for our spoiler alert or top 5 movie posts on Facebook and Twitter to share your favorite picks. In closing, I want to thank everybody for listening. Check us out on social media. Go out to our Facebook page and like it. Head out to Twitter where we're tweeting all of our movie reviews, podcasts, and more. Go out to our website, alternateending.com. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast on iTunes or Google to get the latest podcasts when they come live. And don't forget about our Patreon. Next episode with Ready Player One, a Steven Spielberg movie and one of my most anticipated movies of spring coming out. We're taking a look at our top 5 Steven Spielberg movies.
Yes, indeed.
We'll catch you then.